Good morning and welcome back to Carrot Studio. I'm Craig and we have yet another review. This one is a review for the allegedly more experienced piper or smoker, and possibly because it's quite it's more than mild, it's more than medium in strength, but don't be frightened of it because it is actually an absolutely wonderful blend. It's very similar to Mick McQuaid, so if you're familiar with Mick McQuaid you will understand the flavour of this, and also Yachtsman. Yachtsman's plug. So here we have it, Peterson's 3P'S, Peterson's Perfect Plug. Now, can you see this comes in a rather large tin because it's a big square block of plug tobacco. Now, I have had this pre-rubbed out. When I say rubbed, I'm actually quite amphibian. It's not rubbed at all. It was put in a food blender and down by my good friend, and that's how he does all of his plugs. He buys a lot of Yachtsman plug and he just throws it into the blender and it just chops it all up, whizzes it up, and saves just chopping the slice off, rubbing it out and everything, and it does it wonderfully. So I'm going to open this up and nice aroma. It smells quite moist, and it is it does smell of plum, this one, in actual fact, and as you can see from the that's not a plug. So let me show you, look, it's blended, as in it's chopped up into bits. Alright, some might not like it, but I love it that way. So let's have our Peterson Iron Smooth X15, put in a Blitz filter, just to keep it, you know, this is the standard smoke for just regular blends. And a filter pad, as in non-aromatic, sorry, I meant to say. Okay, here we go. Just need to get that one just lined up a bit better. Okay, so I'm just going to take a handful of this, look, and drop it in here. See that there? Okay. So let's get that fed into the pipe. Now these are, he may have overdone this one a little bit, but in fairness now, it does actually taste wonderful like this. I've never been one for, I'm a bit lazy. Plug has always annoyed me, and I can honestly say I don't think I've ever smoked a complete plug because it always dried out on me because I just couldn't be bothered to. I've packed that a bit too tight, so I'm just going to loosen that up a little bit. This is part of the tool, look. That's better. Right, put that back in there. Okay, so we'll put the 3P's back in its, what is it? Okay, so let's get this we're like that. We're okay like that? Yeah, we're okay like that. Let's get this fired up, shall we? I'm getting a bit fed up with that lighter. it's quite moist still, that. And it is from last October, or maybe before then, that I bought this. It's gone out again already. Oh, come on. There we go. It's velvety smooth. And you get all the beautiful texture there. Get a bit of that plum casing. But it's like you need to get this going a little bit. That's quite a nice room note, actually. This now. This is a very traditional smoke as well. Very similar to like a traditional, what I would call an Irish blend, which is rich and plummy and Virginia. Beautiful smoke from it now, isn't it? But the mouthfeel is so velvety smooth. It's wonderful. And I think the room note is quite sublime. Yes, I do like this. I remember going hunting for something similar to Mick McQuaid's when it was out of stock. And from all the descriptions, this came close to it, so I thought, right, I shall try it. My other friend said, yeah, he used to smoke Mick McQuaid as well, and he got Yachtsman Plug. And that sounds the same as this. Very little in the difference, to be honest. They're very, very similar. And of course, Mick McQuaid used to come in plug format too. So you had Mick McQuaid plug, Yachtsman plug, which I think was Dunhill, and then Peterson's 3P'S plug. So that is Peterson's Perfect Plug, Yachtsman and Mick McQuaid. And they all are very, very similar. I think you'd be hard pushed to tell the difference, to be honest. And all made by STG. Now, I'm not trying to drum up a conspiracy theory here at all. What I'm saying is they're very similar. So if you can't find one and you can get the other, perfect. So you got like 3 bites of the cherry there to get the flavour that you like. And that's, I think, is really good. It's nice to have that, because sometimes tobacco is just genuinely out of stock, isn't it? And if it's your favourite, you know, you need to be able to come up with an alternative that's actually a viable alternative. So, yeah, that is very enjoyable. It's very moist, but it feels moist in the mouth as well, which is actually quite nice. Now you have to remember as well, I have 2 filters in here, so it's probably very moist, maybe a bit sharp if without them, I don't know. There's good strength in this, I know. And both in flavour, and I think it's got quite a high nicotine content in this one as well. So like, buyer beware. So let's have a look at the description. Cut plug, it's a mixture of Virginia and Burley. Flavour is plum. Strength medium to full. Peterson 3P'S plug is a traditional tobacco blended from selected Virginia leaf from Africa and Brazil and blended with Burley from Malawi. The tobaccos are cased with a natural plum topping before drying and pressing. They are then heated and stored for 2 weeks. The result is a full-bodied blend with a natural sweetness and notes of plum. A traditional smoking blend similar to the old Velvet plug. Oh gosh, do you remember Velvet plug? Oh yeah, I remember that. Medium to full in terms of its strength and nicotine content, with a wonderful room aroma. Velvet plug. I don't think you can get that anymore, can you? But yeah. So there are no American tobacco leaves in this, I'm afraid, my friends in America. Africa and Brazil, I'm afraid. Burley from Malawi, which is also in mainland Africa as well. Interesting how it's cased with a natural plum before drying and then pressing. So it's kind of squished into it as part of the process. Okay, so the all-important tobacco review. So this excellent plug tobacco comprises selected Virginia leaf from Africa and Brazil, blended with a Burley leaf from Malawi. The tobaccos are lightly cased before drying and pressing, and then are heated and stored for 2 weeks before cutting. The result is a full-bodied yet fruity blend, sure to appeal to the experienced pipe smoker. Notes: Peterson Perfect Plug was manufactured by Colhaz and Kopp until 2018. Ah, I did not know that. It's now made by STG, Scandinavian Tobacco Group. So look at the profile. So strength is medium to strong. Okay, you have been warned. Flavouring is mild. It is actually mild. Room note is pleasant to tolerable. I would say it's more pleasant than tolerable. And taste medium to full. Yeah, that's good. Now there are 181 reviews for this, so this should be fairly accurate, and it's 3.15 out of 4. So the rating is quite high. So there are 75 4 stars, 68 3 stars, 28 2 stars, and 10 1 stars. So it is heavily biased in people really like it. And I would, you know, I'll be one of those. Okay. This fella he's written a tome here, so I'm just trying to get down to the detail. Okay. The taste is very powerful Virginia Burley with a bit of fruit-like casing that was deep, rich and dark. Yeah. The added flavouring, despite its depth, it never burned off, was not overpowering and never truly sweet. Yes. I could tell this tobacco had been heavily stoved and pressed, although somewhat similar to the taste in G&H Dark Plug. This one is much more refined and didn't body slam my palate. It does carry a burst of nicotine from the start, and the presentation of that wonderful drug is unrelenting throughout bowl. Okay. Yeah, the amount of relights needed was annoying, and I wish there was such a thing as a ready rub version of this. Well, chaps, the way you ready rub it is stick it in a food blender, but it still requires relights. And I think I should have aerated this a little bit more, maybe, before putting it into the pipe. But in all honesty, I think it's just that type of tobacco. Very moist. And yeah, it's tasty. It is actually tasty. And it's subtly fruity. When you get that big puff, beautiful. It is good tobacco though. It is very good tobacco. And the mouthfeel, I just cannot explain how velvety smooth it is. It is rich in taste. There's a good full flavour to this now, as in you get the full flavour of the tobacco. The casing of plum is I think it just tones it down a little bit more than anything else, because the Virginia's naturally sweet anyway, and this just added a slightly different texture to the feel. What else do they have to say on this? The Virginias have a fair amount of tangy dark fruit earth, wood, bread, sugar, some grass, tart and tangy citrus, okay, vegetation, mild floriness and a couple of cigar notes and a pinch of spice. Good grief. I'm not at that level, obviously. Gosh, I can't read any more of that. It's just utter nonsense. Okay. This is more of an interesting one. Please, whatever you do, do not write this off. Smoke the right way. This is a simply wonderful tobacco that can be enjoyed by all. Yes, even by beginners, of course. I found that there are some rules to help though. Rule number 1. Storage. Once you buy a tin, transfer it to an airtight jar. For me, this is occasional smoke. Alright, so that's if you leave it in plug format. It will dry eventually, of course. Be mindful of the end kick. You may not realise it at first, but trust me, if you fill a large bowl and you're not used to it, after 45 minutes your head will be spinning. Okay? So a pipe with a small bowl is best to start off with. Possibly, yeah. But then you don't want it burning too hot neither, do you? Find your rhythm. If you try to puff your way through this, it will bite you in the arse as well as the mouth. I'm not too sure about the bite and the tongue bite. It hasn't given me any of that. Best to sip or break up with a drink of coffee or tea or something like this and do like read. Yeah, you like all strong tobaccos and all full flavoured and full bodied tobaccos, you need to sip them really. It's like a nice fine whiskey, isn't it? You don't gulp it down. And most important, respect the tobacco. If you take your time, you will truly, and to get to know this tobacco, you will truly appreciate it. It may deter some because of the faff needed to prepare. But with everything in life, the more you put in, the more you get out, and you will find that your hard work pays off. Okay? Yeah. The vast majority of these are saying very similar things. Yeah. So, preparation is key. I would agree with that. So why don't you try the way I've done it? You know, you don't just... You need to... I just put the whole block in. I sliced it into little slices, and then put it into the blender. Don't put the whole block in at once. That's no good. So perhaps what you could do is take a few slices off with a Stanley blade, because you want a really sharp blade to do this, because it's quite thick. And put it in. Don't use your wife's blender, whatever you do. Okay, just don't do that. We got a specific one. It's like a torpedo in shape, and you load the top and just push the lid down, and it zooms, and it's got like 4 blades spin around at an angle at the bottom, and you need a fairly good one because it's quite tough. Because if it's just a cheap and nasty plastic thing with plastic rings in it, won't last. Experience has taught us this. If you're from the UK, Square, what's it called? The Range sell them, but about €20 or £20. But put it in a blender, and it's gonna munch it all up for you. And however fine you want it determines how long you're going to leave in the blender. You'll need a few punches, and it'll just rip it apart really quickly. And if you want to take it out then and just rub it out a bit more, then you can do. And then put it in a pouch or in a jar, and then you can just put it out like any tobacco, like a ribbon tobacco. Then. And that way then you just get the consistency through the pipe. You're not going to get any gaps, you know, when you have when you have something not quite rubbed out properly. And it will stay lit probably better as well. So it is a good rich tobacco, this, and yeah, it is nice with a bit of a drink, refresh the mouth. But you will enjoy this. I'm fairly confident now. If you like your Virginia and Burleys to be a little bit more powerful than mild to medium, this should be a good one for you. I am thoroughly enjoying this. Yeah. My friend, he bought it too. And I brought him a couple of packets of Mick McQuaid. So he's got all three now. Yachtsman, 3P'S and McQuaid. Mind you, he's a prolific smoker, so it doesn't take him long to go through his tobacco. And he's one of the traditional type smokers. So like he would have his one blend. So it used to be Mick McQuaid, and that was it. He wouldn't stray from that at all. Then he found he couldn't get hold of that, and he went hunting and found Yachtsman Plug, and that gave him the same mouthfeel, the same taste, same nicotine, everything. And then I bought this 3P'S and introduced him to this, and he now likes this as well. He bought a lot of these as well. So, but yeah, he would have just been a single blend smoker, mostly with one pipe as well. And I think you will find the vast majority of the global pipe smokers would be like that. They just have their own tobacco and that's it. A lot of them will be on Captain Black, Condor, some Bruno, what's the other one? Mellow Virginia. These are all European ones now. In the US, I think it's Captain Black, isn't it? And like these are store-bought, across-the-counter pipe tobaccos. I went into my local store yesterday just to see what they had, and they had Condor and Mellow Virginia. So I know if I ever get stuck and I got nothing left, or I'm waiting on something to come through and I need something different, I could go and get one of those easily. But that is what ST Group are selling. Their biggest sellers are those type of tobaccos. They're not the fancy tobaccos that we enjoy. Now don't get me wrong, they still sell a lot of the nice tobaccos as well. But I think if you categorized all the world smokers for pipes, the general person would have his own or her own single blend that they stick to. Maybe two. I wouldn't think they go any more than that. What we are, people watching this, if you have an interest in tobacco, you're not that type of person. You are classed as an enthusiast, a hobbyist. And your moisture's coming up the pipe there, even still with all those filters I've got. And We are the ones that are complaining about there's not enough blends, and there's Sutliff and McBaron are closing a lot of the blends down, and most of the people in the world that smoke pipes wouldn't even know about that. Hard for us to take that in, I know. So after listening to a few different interviews there now, there was an interview there from London, from Simon at London Calling, and he was talking to Max Stokerby, Max the son, and he was very pragmatic about the whole thing, and he was basically saying, yeah, the biggest tobaccos that we sell are like the likes of Captain Black and the, you know, the over-the-counter tobacco. But they still sell a huge amount of all the others as well. Of course they do. They wouldn't be selling them otherwise, would they? They wouldn't be making no money. But they make them in bulk. And I think the world is changing, isn't it? Like, we're getting locked down. A lot of countries are trying to ban smoking altogether. And it's at this moment now where we're finding a lot of new pipe smokers entering the market. They're not smoking cigarettes anymore, but they still enjoy a smoke. And pipe smoking now is offering so many, and what with the onset of the internet now and online shopping, you can buy everything fairly straightforward, can't you? And the array of blends is just mind-boggling, really. It really is. It never used to be that way. So pipe smoking has taken on a whole new persona now, hasn't it? So this would be a very old-fashioned traditional blend, and would have been enjoyed by many, many, many people over the years. As a full-bodied, experienced pipe tobacco or pipe smoker. But just because you're new to pipe smoking, you shouldn't stay clear of it. It's something that you can still enjoy. You see how this is just tipping away nicely now? And that's the way you need to enjoy this. Just sip it away and it'll just keep going and going and going. And as one of those reviews said, it doesn't lose the flavour. It's the same right the way down the pipe. That is wonderful. I love pipe tobacco. It just has so many different variations, doesn't it? And once you've tried a few of them, and you've trained your senses to develop and be able to extract the various flavours of tobacco, not the toppings, the tobacco, you've just opened yourself up to a whole new world. And it truly is fantastic. If you can just pick the actual tobacco that you think you might suit your mood. Like you might find, I just fancy something light and something whatever, and you choose a tobacco to match and choose a pipe that matches that too. Like you may only want a short smoke, a little pipe. But equally, some tobaccos like this require you to have a bigger bowl, I think. I don't think I'll put this in a small bowl neither. So the trick there is just want a quick smoke, just put less in. Or let it go out, leave it, come back to it and relight it, because you can with this tobacco. Because it's a strong enough tobacco that can cope with that. It doesn't taste ashy. So, yeah. I'm giving this an 8.5. Yeah, I like this a lot, and I'm very pleased I bought it. And I bought this because I couldn't find Mick McQuaid's. It had gone out, and I thought it actually finished. It wasn't being made any longer, so I thought, well, we're going to have to find something else to replace it with. And Yachtsman I couldn't get hold of that neither, so I tried this. It's very similar, but I actually think this is actually smoother than Mick McQuaid's. I'd prefer this. Shouldn't really say that, should I? But I do. So, yeah, don't be frightened of it. It is a full-bodied smoke, but it is enjoyable, and it's tasty right way down the bone, and it just burns away to nothing. The ash just is very pale grey, fine, very enjoyable. All right, so once again, thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know how you get on with it. I'm fairly confident now that many of you will have smoked this already and be familiar with it. Hopefully that you like it. If you haven't tried it and you fancy a stronger, more full-bodied smoke, then do try it. And see how you get. It comes in a big block. It's not a small block. And I'm trying to see, I think it's 50 gram. 50 gram. So yeah, enjoy. Great to talk to you. I love reading your comments. The comments are coming in thick and fast now, and they're very interesting. I learned so many new things, and you know, it's wonderful. It's a great community we have here, isn't it, in the YTPC? And let's keep it going and share your enthusiasm. And you know, if you like it, please do hit the like button. If you feel that you might want to subscribe, then subscribe. That'd be great. And if you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. One way or another, it's interaction, isn't it? And lets me know if I'm doing the right thing. And so far, I think it's going down quite well. So until next time, till the next smoke, I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you very much, and enjoy your weekend and enjoy your day. Good luck.